So what I'm walking in is an original trench. This area is full of original trenches from World War I. This one in particular was from a battle fought between June 2nd and June 6th in 1916. All kinds of stuff was left in this dirt, in the mud, in the craters. And they left this huge stretch of trenches. And the man who lived here, who came back to reclaim his farm, never got rid of them. He never filled them in, never dug them out. They remained like this. So I'm going to show you what it looks like here. I'm going to show you inside the museum and the stuff that he recovered out of his own land, out of the dirt. It's an amazing collection of stuff in there. And I'm going to take you through the trenches. So this all happened from June 2nd to June 6th in 1916. And from what I've read, from what they say in this museum, the man who owned this farm came back to reclaim it, and a lot of what you're seeing was left here. He found it in the dirt, in the mud, and in the craters. Look at these rolls of old barbed wire they look like bees' nests now. What's left of these blown out trees, they have them supported here by these posts. You can see all the bullet holes. Would they have lasted since 1916? I don't know. They're here. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it's obviously really old. Very old. This is cement. They tried to put cement over this, maybe to preserve it. I don't know. I'm not really an expert on how long tree stumps will last. You know, I feel like this thing probably would have fallen a long time ago and then just rotted away, but since it's being held up, I don't know. So this wagon was one of the things that was left. So he's just held on to this stuff. These are German markers, originally placed nearby on the battlefield, and then during the battlefield clearance of 1918, they were removed after the bodies, which were presumably moved away into a proper German cemetery somewhere in this area. So for instance, this man was 20 years old, I believe, born 1896 and died June 6th, 1916. So he very well could have died in this battle, right where we're standing. The trenches are all over here. World War I was really such the start of trench warfare. Most of them, when the war was over, farmers came back in and they just refarmed the lands, covered them over, got rid of them completely. Whereas this place, they were kept. So Sanctuary Wood was the site of fierce combat, particularly in 1916 between June 2nd and June 13th, where both Canadian and British forces were fighting to retake the area from German forces. They did ultimately recapture Hill 62 from the Germans, but at a cost of many lives lost. It was a site of heavy artillery bombardments and close-quarter fighting. Thousands of men were killed or wounded, and the same on the German side. And these trenches are really just a small portion of what used to be here. But keep in mind, what we're walking through is not what it would have looked like during these battles. This is a very cleaned up version, a maintained version. This is meant for visitors and tourists to come and walk through and to get some sort of a sense of what it might have been like. However, these pictures that I'm going to show you, albeit tame ones compared to what is actually in this museum, are a better look into what these trenches and what trench warfare in general looked like during the battle. There are little offshoots like this that come off and kind of into almost like a foxhole area. What is this? No idea what this is. It's just in the hole, or in the trench. So why was this land so important? Its elevation was a critical advantage in observing and controlling the land near the town of Ypres. Hill 62, along with Mount Sorel and other nearby hills, formed the high ground that both the Allies and the Germans sought to control. This area, Sanctuary Wood, is located at the base of Hill 62. In fact, the name Hill 62 comes from the fact that it's 62 meters above sea level. So this is the tunnel right here. My guess is it's been, I don't know if these are original. It's hard to say. The tunnel obviously was here, but alright, we're going in. It's muddy here though, so step wisely. This is significant. Now, obviously, there wouldn't have been cement on the ground, but because it would be so muddy in here without it. You know, they need to make it so people like you and I can walk through here. I can tell you right now, I know I'm not the only one down here. Oh, this is mud. Oh, just when you thought it ends, it goes way down there. So this is the other tunnel. It's a little bit shorter than the one I was just in. Oh, this one's real muddy though. Goes back into the trenches here. You know what I keep thinking about is that there are families here and there's kids in here and they're having fun running through these. It's a maze to them. You know, they have no feeling behind it. They have no real education behind it. So to them, it's just a fun maze to run through. But you can imagine the hell that was happening here. And I'm sure some of you are watching this saying, there's no way. Belgium is full of that stuff. World War I and World War II. And the amount of history that still exists today is incredible. And something like this, a trench, yeah, I'm sure there are areas that caved in, there are areas that were covered over by debris, mudslides, whatever. So it was likely dug out in some areas. But from what I've read, this man preserved this. He made a conscious effort to keep it clean and keep it open. The footprint of these, the location on the maps, this is where they were in 1916. And regardless of all that, it is a fantastic way to get even just an inkling, even just a small feel for what it was like here. But of course, you know, they've seen years of maintenance and retouching to keep them up to par for visitors to see this and experience this. You know, it's dirt. Maybe some areas needed to be redug. It's 100 years old. I mean, these things weren't really built for longevity. They were built to last for the time that they were needed. Whoa. That door needs some WD-40. So this is inside the museum here, and I want to warn you that some of the photos you're going to see are pretty graphic, especially for, you know, the kids. I mean, I can't show you the really crazy stuff because YouTube would not like that, but let's just say that the huge collection of photos here are extremely eye-opening to the horrors of World War I. Who knows, maybe collected by farmers, kept in their barns for decades and decades. All the gas masks, the big shells down there. Amazing collection here. It's too bad the reflection is so bad. Look at this thing. This is serious. Wow. Wow, look at this pinball game. Sanctuary Wood, Hill 62. An incredible place to come and see. If you're ever in Belgium and you want to see some amazing World War I history, you can come and walk through it and look at the amazing stuff. The collection in there is incredible. Alright, see you in the next video.